A number of you have written in to me and asked me to cover different types of breads. So today we're going to cover one of the easiest breads to make. You don't need a stand mixer, and it's a perfect crowd pleaser every single time: focaccia. Today's sponsor is River Wave Foods, and you can check them out online at riverwavefoods.com. River Wave Foods makes a bunch of different artisanal, handcrafted spreads and sauces, including tapenades and vinaigrettes and a bunch of other really delicious garnishes and condiments. You can check them out online at riverwavefoods.com and give them a go. If you are a WTF viewer, which you are, you can use the code WTF to receive 10% off your purchase. Check them out online at riverwavefoods.com. Focaccia is a flat Italian bread that is baked in the oven and is often topped with different spices, sometimes cheese, seasonings, and herbs. It's a soft, very moist bread that often has little dimples up on the top. It doesn't rise too much, and it's baked inside of a pan, so it has a pretty uniform shape. The word focaccia comes from the ancient Roman term panis focaccius, which is a bread that was baked in the ashes of the hearth. The focus is another name for the hearth. Focus, focaccia, you get it. In a lot of ways, focaccia is very similar to pizza dough, both in the way that it's prepared and also the way that it's cooked. They're both cooked pretty rapidly on a hot surface, either a stone surface or, in this case, inside of a pan. The difference is that focaccia is a bit lighter and fluffier than pizza is, except for the Sicilian pan pizza, but that's another story. Although herbs and sea salt are the main toppings, you can really put a lot of things on top of focaccia. I've seen people put cheeses on top of it. They've also put meats and baked it just like that. This also makes the ultimate sandwich bread. Slice it in half and top it with whatever you want, whether it's eggs in the morning or ham in the afternoon. Of course, it's also a great bread for dipping, which is what we are going to do with it today. First, combine 1 pound of flour, 1 packet of yeast, which should be 7 grams, and 1½ teaspoon of salt in a bowl. Stir it around with a fork or a whisk until the ingredients are mixed well. Now start to incorporate warm water a little bit at a time until the mixture starts to stick together. It took me about 12 ounces, but I'm in a very humid environment, so it might take you a little bit more. This is one of those things where it's not about a precise measurement, it's very much about the look and feel. So look at the video and try and match your recipe to the video. Then, using your hands, combine the flour and water thoroughly. Knead the dough in the bowl. If the dough is super sticky, like you can take your hand out and it just globs to your hand, you need to start to incorporate more flour. You're going to sort of balance this out, flour, water, until you get to the point where someone that has a clean hand can stick their finger in and pull it out, and they don't really have goop all over their hand. There's still a little bit of a tug, but it separates and it doesn't leave them with schmutz all over their finger. Then scrape out your dough onto a floured surface and knead it. If it starts to get too sticky, add a little more flour. Keep pulling it and stretching it and pulling it and folding it and pounding it and abusing it for about 5 minutes. Then, in a large bowl, add some olive oil and switch it around so the entire bowl is covered in olive oil. Put the dough in and then swirl the dough around, flipping it over once to make sure it's completely covered with olive oil. Cover the bowl with a towel and put it in a warm place to rise for as long as it takes to double in size, which could be from 30 minutes to an hour. If you're not sure where a warm place is, you might want to check out your laundry room. Often there's some warmth coming from your heater. And if you have no warmth in your house, you might want to try putting it inside of your oven, of course with the oven off, because some warmth generally comes from the pilot light inside of the oven. I actually left my dough to rise for almost 2.5 hours, and it was still totally fine. It was huge, but it was great. Then drizzle oil on the bottom and rub it all over the surface and up the sides of a baking pan to prevent any sticking. Transfer the dough and pound it down, then cover it and leave it in a warm place again for another 30 minutes. When the dough is done rising, use a floured finger to poke little holes, about 15, all over the surface. Scatter with flaky salt or whatever herbs and toppings you like. I use sage. And bake in a 425-degree oven for 25 to 30 minutes or until the top is light golden brown. Remove it from the pan and slice it open with your favorite spread. So that is how you make focaccia. It's our first bread baking recipe on What's This Food. Let me know if you try it and if you like it by posting a comment below. Be sure to check out riverwavefoods.com and use your 10% code, and I will see you tomorrow.